Buenos dias, tardes y noches a todo el mundo. Welcome to another episode of Caldo de Riza.
You forgot that, bro.
You know what it is that I almost thought about saying Caso Cerrado. Like, I swear to God, I was like that close to saying that.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it's Judge Judy in Spanish. It's the best.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. En español. I'm Danny Archilla, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, producer, and friend, who I haven't seen in a hot minute.
It has been a minute.
Mr. Bryan TV.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Zach's in the background helping us out with the camera.
Keeping
Thank you,
an eye on
Vederman.
everything.
But we are here and back in Pacoima. How are you doing, man?
Good, man. Good to see ya.
Good to see you.
I'm enjoying the new haircut.
Yeah. I had this haircut like maybe a month ago, so it's not very new anymore. But
It's new to me.
It's new to you.
If I haven't seen it, it's new to me.
It's news to me.
Yeah, but no, it's good. Life's been trucking along. We're both alive, and we're excited to be back
Yeah.
and do another episode of Caldo de Riza. This is almost like not a relaunch, but more of like, what are we doing here? We're doing
I think
a bit
it's
of
like
an
a
adjustment,
second
right?
season, right? Would you
Yeah,
say
we
that?
can call it a second season.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, this is our reputation era.
I like it.
Or whatever you say. These Swifties. No, new year, new problems, same old pals, and same nationality. Of course, this is the Colombian podcast ran by Colombian comedians.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to Bryan about it after we started geeking out over the end of The Sopranos. That this could possibly use a facelift. Because to be honest, I feel like I want this to be about important topics to Colombians, but not important topics to school children in Colombia. You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't have to be a textbook teacher of Colombian lore. Maybe we could dive into it, but there's more immediate stuff that we could talk about, such as our own personal experiences as American-born Colombians, or I guess you're a CBC technically.
I'm a Colombian-born American.
Already, yeah. We should probably delve into that, because honestly, I don't think we talk enough about how different you and I are.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess we don't really.
Like, we both know you're funnier,
right?
Yeah,
but we know that you're better looking.
I think that has something to do with how light my Latin flavor comes across. Something about that. I think people might trust
you got
me
the
more.
perfect little blend of it. You know what
Perhaps
I mean?
a
Like,
blend.
you got the good Hispanic hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got the good, strong, pointed features. You know, like. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
you got all the good. You got all that Espanol that you know.
Espanol.
You probably had some conquistadores in your bloodline. You know, maybe like a Germanic priest came over. A lot of people came over and preached the word and the gospel, and they all intermingled and interbred. And
So I guess what you're saying is that I might be a majority colonizer, is what you're saying. I might have that in my blood.
I don't know. I've seen your mom, and your mom is pretty light.
Yes.
You know, and your dad is.
Shout out to Alba and Robert.
Yeah, shout out to our favorite guests.
Love you guys. Miss
Yeah,
you.
we love y'all. Y'all is good people.
I promise you things are going great.
Yeah, things are going fine. The woman left. She left, señora. She's gone.
Híjole.
But really, yeah, I guess let's dive into it. Vederman, do you have the papers, dog? I hate to be a Nancy boy about it
These
mid-show.
are government-sanctioned papers.
We get a white man to throw us their papers. Okay, all right. Go ahead. So rebranding. What are we starting with? You said you want to have a conversation about.
Well, I just think it's important to have a conversation about how different we interpret things as Colombians. You
Okay.
know?
All right. So do you want to do it almost like a Vice video, like a little 5-minute Vice video where Vederman asks us questions where it's like, what do you think when you see a white man with a black woman? Or how do you ask those types of questions?
The thing is that I feel like
or you ask me a question.
We could ask each other questions.
All right, you
I
start.
don't want to put all the responsibility on Vederman. Shout out to Zach. He's a saint, but
Yeah, what is he gonna ask us?
yeah, exactly.
You know. All right, you go first.
I just don't want to put too much pressure.
Let's get
let's get into it.
You asked me a question.
Do you feel like Colombians have enough representation in
what?
I'm sorry, I was listening to that password protected commercials. Can we be bigger in the eyes of the world? Like, could there be more known to us than just cocaine and coffee? Because I think so, but I want to hear your reasons why we should.
Okay, so are you asking me, do I think the interpretation of, like, Colombians on film is accurate? Or are you asking
on
me?
TV, yeah, if we're, like, if there's, like, better ways we could probably be represented, you know? Because I guess we're making a positive push, but is it, like, is it expanding, you know? Is it beyond the cocaine and the coffee stories that, you know, most Americans kind of typecast us as?
I don't think so. I think a lot of that has to do with, like, where we are. You know, we're in America, and so I imagine, you know, if you were in Colombia, you know, we wouldn't feel the same about the characters that we've been presented. You know, there's probably a much higher variety of people in Colombian cinema and media, you know, that kids, you know, and even us, like, would probably learn and look up to. That wouldn't just be, you know, narcos and, you know, drug stuff and things like that. You know, I also think that is a culture that is very prevalent and prevalent, pardon me, and, like, it is something that exists, and, you know, to ignore it, you know, or to not talk about it or acknowledge it, you know, that wouldn't be the smart thing to do either. And so I think there's a lot of positive Colombian figures out there that maybe we don't even know about because we're not that well educated, you know, like, in that regard. But I don't know. I mean, what do we want to see? You know, we live in America, you know, we're never going to see, like, a straight up Colombian actor who comes out on screen and says, I'm a proud Colombian, and be the main focus of, like, a Marvel movie, or, you know, like, you know, and I mean, what else do we want from that also? Do we need them to wear a Colombian flag in the middle of the movie? You know, do we need them, like, you know, what are those interpretations?
I guess for me personally, I just kind of wish when I saw The Pest with John Leguizamo in it that, you know, maybe just for a second, he acknowledged that, like, he's not just Puerto Rican or Cuban or what have you. The thing is, that's what I'm saying, is that it's, like, so easy to, like, confuse them for a different nationality. Why can't people just confuse Spanish people for Colombian? You know, like, oh, are you Colombian? It's like, no, they always have to say Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Spanish. That's it. Like, I guess what I'm saying is that I want I'm hoping that in the future I can create stuff, you can create stuff, we both create stuff that not only brings Colombians to, like, the forefront, but also we're just so normalized, people don't have to see, like you said, they don't have to see a Colombian flag or a plate of empanadas for them to be like, oh, that guy's Colombian. Like, it's just personality, you know, like, just, like, our style, you know, and the things we care about. Like, I feel like Colombians care more about farms than the average American, you know. Like, there's a lot of beautiful
farms.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of beautiful farmland in Colombia, and I've yet to see that really proper explored. But
so you want to see, like, a movie about, like, a Colombian farmer who like finds gold in the mountains and he has to protect it, like,
maybe,
you know?
Yeah, that technically would be pretty accurate,
creators, right? Like, that comes down to us to push, like, major things like that, where it's like, well, he has to be Colombian, but, like, again, like,
but without saying it, of course, you know, tell me you're Colombian without saying you're Colombian.
I mean, it's all about how much realistically, how much representation do you want to see? Like, in 30 years, 40 years, a majority of America will be half Mexican, half Hispanic. You know, we will vastly outmeasure, you know, white people in North America. Yeah. And then you probably will see movies like that. You probably will end up seeing more and more culturally, like, sensitive, and maybe not even sensitive is the right word, but, like, culturally relevant to not just white people and black people and Mexicans. Like, it becomes more about, you know, again, you know, Chinese, Hispanic, Korean, Taiwan.
Yeah, and if that could happen for us, it would also pave the way for Peruvians or Chileans, Ecuadorians,
Like, how much
Bolivians.
representation do you end up needing? You know what I mean? It's like, how much do we end up needing to know? How much do we end up needing to see in us? Like, again, if we want to feel something that deeply, we would go back to Colombia. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we wanted to be completely surrounded by Colombian culture, and which I wouldn't mind. I mean, I would love to go back. Like, I've always wanted to go back. One of my deepest regrets in life is always going to be not being able to go back before I saw my grandma and grandpa before they died. Like, that will be always till my deathbed. That is going to be my greatest regret of all time.
I'm sorry about that. How long ago did they die?
Oh, people die, Danny.
I know that. I know.
They died probably like 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. And, who knows whether I could have made that trip or not financially, it doesn't matter. But it's like, at the end of the day, like, those resentments that I harbored against my family and stuff, that had nothing to do with them.
Right.
And so it's like, but things like that, that's kind of, I guess that's my form of representation. Like, I would love to, I've talked about it before, like going on stage, and like I'm not in touch with my roots. What I do on stage has nothing to do with being Hispanic, and that's just because, like, I almost feel like there's enough accurate representation out there that's already getting magnified, that's almost already getting comedically kind of like inflated by actual Hispanic and Mexican people, that me going out of my way to try and pretend to interpret those things isn't going to do anything positive, and it's not going to do anything.
Sure.
And I'm not going to do, and if I did it, I may do it well, but it would just be like a shadow of it, and so at the end of the day, like, when that question gets asked of me, do I feel like the Colombian representation that's happening is like accurate or like, good? I don't know, right? Because I don't feel Colombian half the time, because I don't understand,
It's hard to hear. It's hard to hear in the States, because, like, as you said, if we really wanted to,
I think it'd be a lot easier if every time I went
privilege.
home there was empanadas cooking, and there was
Yeah.
a wall covering it with the flag, and there was like the Virgin on candles, and like there was like, I think it'd be a lot easier to come back home to that and have like Spanish speaking parents, like, and like family, like that type of stuff. I think to me would keep me more ingrained.
Yeah.
But because I don't have those types of roots, for me, when people go, is there enough representation of your people? I'm like, shit, I don't know. Rednecks? Like, is there another NASCAR
That's right. Yeah.
movie? Like, so I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I would love to write a movie that would be, based on a Hispanic guy from Colombia, but what appeal is that out here in the States? Who does that appeal to if it doesn't have a drug?
Well, then maybe we don't
thing,
make it for the people in the States. Maybe that movie's made for folks in Colombia that take in the perspective of one of their own, but who's been like so far removed from the country. They come back after like 20 years or something, maybe for like a family reunion or something, and they're just totally not Americanized, but United States of Americanized, like they're out of touch. Me, probably, I'm also like not aware of what are the pluses and minuses that come with like having that type of culture, because like things are a lot less militaristic here, in the States, but it has been, police tend to dress up like they're army brats and all that. And well, maybe I got to be more grateful for the little ounces of Colombianism my family even has, because dude, like what you're describing, maybe not so much the empanadas, but everything else. Yeah, they speak Spanish. Yeah, they have like Colombian type of figurines scattered through the house. They don't call them calcetines, they call them medias. The socks. Like, I feel very surrounded by that type of stuff when I go back to visit my family in Florida. But even then, like, they know it too. Like, this isn't the way Colombia is. Like the everything in United States. So it's like, yeah, perhaps I would take like a goal of ours. Perhaps we keep this, and that's another goal of mine, to keep this more consistent in the midst of my very busy schedule, and your schedule as well,
Very busy.
It's like the fact is that you're one of the few people I actually get along with very easily in LA. Like you're very cool to talk to, because you don't judge, and you also like know how to like be fair to folks, and I respect that.
Yeah, man. I think maybe
Yeah.
that's just I think maybe that has a lot to do with the upbringing too. You know, it's like you have to kind of be in the middle. You can't always be aggressive, you know, around people that aren't, you know, that are white. You know, and I think it also has something to do with like a small town upbringing. You know, when you grow up in a small town, you know, of like 1,000 people, you know, graduating class of like 200 kids, like, you know, 10,000 people or whatever, less than that, and like half of them are in the marsh. It's like. You can't really go out of your way to cause problems. You know, like you can't really you can't really do things like that. So it's like a lot easier. I appreciate you saying that, Danny. That means a lot to me. That means I'm doing something right conversationally, you know, spiritually.
Yeah,
you know,
of course, man. Mr. Binge on this channel, you know, himself. You know,
Exactly.
you know what it is to be presentable, but also to be admirable,
aloof and admirable.
Aloof and admiral aloof.
The most successful kings are the ones who are boring. It's like, yeah, that guy did what he was supposed to do. You know, he didn't make any problems for anything. He just. Yeah. But then the coolest ones are the ones who start uprisings and like take over land and, you know, do conquests and steal princesses at night. Like those guys, they live forever in history. So it's like,
perhaps,
you know, who are we gonna be? But so yeah, so here's my question to you, Danny.
Let's answer it. Let's hear it.
Do you feel like you are attracted more to Hispanic women, or do you fear Hispanic women?
You know what? To be honest, I don't think I would be able to sustain a relationship with a Hispanic woman right now. Like, I'm attracted to them, but I'm also just attracted to like a lot of different walks of life. Like, I don't know. You have to be a certain type of something to really turn me off. Like I'm kind of a man whore, you know. I'm like I go hard, but I'm not gonna say anything more on that because my family
that's the Colombian.
My family is watching, and we are Catholics, so
very true.
But yeah, I don't know. I admire Latin women for sure. I have some good friends that are Latin, you know. Shout out to Stephanie Santana. Shout out to Carissa Miranda. Shout out to
Jennifer Lopez.
Actually,
Shakira.
My friend Heather, she looks a lot like Jennifer Lopez. My friend, we're going to have her on the podcast, I've declared. Because she's not necessarily Colombian, but she's as close to Colombian as she can get. Because she's hung around my family so often. We've seen her as like essentially another member of the family. She's known me longer than anybody ever, like almost as long as my family. So she's coming here in March with her pal and no, a girl. But that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying about we're just friends. Let's make it known. She and I are just childhood friends for the past 28 years. So, you know.
Childhood friends. I like it.
It's definitely nothing unrequited. I'll tell you that right now. Don't get any suspicions.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I know.
Yeah, don't be from the corner judging us, you piece of shit.
Yeah, come on,
just
Zach.
because our language is erased by your people. We'd be talking like the. All right, so.
But it would also be cool to possibly. We were just talking about this because we love The Sopranos so much that it's kind of softened my heart and maybe consider something. And I want to ask if you would consider possibly doing a little recap, a mini recap of episodes from Narcos.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very interested in that idea. I think it really speaks to what we're doing here, which is like the understanding and like, you know, interpretation of a Colombian culture as we
exactly. Like if we really want to know about that, we got to know what certain people have done right and wrong. We've already analyzed the hell out of Encanto, and we certainly don't need to go back down that rabbit hole again.
Fuck that movie.
You know, on to
and fuck you, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
It's a pretty good movie, and
fuck you,
I just
Jack.
like
Fuck
that.
you.
That
Fuck you, and
that
this is the
John
rap
Leguizamo was in there, so I love that. But it'd be cool. Maybe I think we're gonna start doing that. We're gonna try to make that
fuck you, Lin-Manuel
bit of an
Yeah.
assignment to keep watching Narcos.
He probably never even ate an empanada. Never ate an empanada.
Whoa.
When he wrote music for Encanto.
You're going hard on Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Fuck you,
Maybe
Lin-Manuel
he's gonna go ahead and hit you with the chancla.
Oh, nice sick Spanish rap. I like that. All right. Sorry, I didn't want to make it like this, that, and the other podcast. I know we're trying something
Well,
new.
but that's just it, though. Like, maybe this is like Latin, this, that, and other.
Oh, yeah?
La otra,
it's like
y la otra cosa.
Yeah. It's like that. It's like it's like on Channel Ocho. It's like on Univision.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I can get down with that.
Yeah. See, so because that's just it. I want this to be like your podcast as well, because this is our podcast. But I feel like I've taken too much lead.
Originally,
in the past.
that was the goal. This is your podcast. Like you're the goal here is for you to push what it means to be Colombian and how it feels to be Colombian. And we're gonna have guests that are Colombian, and we're never gonna stop talking about Colombia.
And we should be getting more food.
We should talk more about our families. Let's start talking about our family trees, bro. We should look into our family trees and see, people from Colombia.
I don't want to talk about family tree.
Colonizer.
No, it's not even that. And I do this joke on stage, but basically, my grandparents are cousins. No, but it's not. It's still something I'm grappling with. Like, that's a
you go on stage and tell random strangers. So why won't you go on our podcast?
Because I have to talk about how I'm not embarrassed of that. And I am, but I'm not.
You should be turned on, dog.
Why? It's my grandparents.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right.
And I guess my grand cousins, I don't know what they are now. Like, it's so... And apparently that's happened twice in my family tree.
Jesus, Danny.
So I was very surprised to hear about the second time.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome to Bryan and the Miracle Kid over here. It's a fucking surprise.
This is what you were saying. You wanted to ask me about family trees. This is my family tree. I can't be embarrassed of it.
With one giant tentacle hook where it's all just...
I'm not allowed to be embarrassed of it.
It's like 12,000 bones inside of a sack. Like inside of a little meat sack that you grab here.
It
is a judgment-free zone. All right. Well, okay. So then, yes, let's make an agreement. Next episode that we record next week, we're gonna have watched at least the first episode of Narcos, or even more than that if possible. I'll probably try and watch as much.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just it. Like, I think if we just go one episode at a time, nothing wrong with that, you know.
Cool. Okay, ask me one more question, and then ask me one more question, and then we'll move on to the last part of it.
Right. So, Bryan,
doing things the right way. Honor. Respect.
We're gonna get real as Colombians right now. We're gonna get real as Colombians right now.
Quiet man.
What the fuck?
Irish whiskey.
All right.
An ultra smooth flavor.
Can't believe I'm saying this, but here we go.
In your life. Do the honors.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Find it
Shakira,
the Quiet Man Irish Whiskey.
Sofia Vergara,
Enjoy responsibly. Imported by Lexico Inc., St. Louis, Missouri. 40%
and
alcohol by volume.
Heads up, the IRS is
What's
on the
another
move.
Colombian
If you owe
woman?
more than 10,000 in
Oh,
taxes,
I know.
bank accounts, cash, and assets are all up for grabs.
Lindsay
With
Lohan.
No, she's not Colombian.
The most Colombian of all.
No, she's not. Oh, I'll tell you who.
She could have a little Colombian if she played her. If she plays her
Oh,
cards.
man, I feel like an old man. I'm just gonna say it. The flaca from El Gordo y la Flaca. Do you remember her?
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's a deep cut.
Yeah, if there could be a graphic,
That's
we,
a deep
we could put it in there.
Sabelo
Because we have
Gigante.
the green screen here.
Yeah,
That
we'll
would be-
pop something up in there.
Yeah, La Flaca from El Gordo y Flaca. So Shakira, La Flaca, and Sofia Vergara.
Kill the Flaca.
Whoa!
Fuck Sofia Vergara.
Okay.
And marry Shakira, because one, Shakira is down to get cheated on apparently, or is too stupid to realize when she's getting cheated on.
Jesus Christ.
Sofia Vergara, she's married to Joe Manganiello, and he's a big beast monster cake. And what am I gonna do, bro? You think I'm gonna walk in that motherfucker after she's been
Just
slobbing
take his
down
wife away
Joe
from that
Manganiello
guy?
and then be like, hey baby, like, you like man titties? Like, that's all I go. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
that's probably how I play it out.
Okay.
All right, I got one for you.
All right, let's hear it.
As a Colombian who isn't brown, do you look at other brown Colombian people and feel some type of way about not being brown or being not
I
brown?
feel sad. I feel like I should be more brown. I feel like an imposter a lot of the time because, like, most people, until you hear my name, or at least until you hear that I could speak Spanish, you would think I'm white. And then when you do hear me Spanish, you're like, oh, this guy's even whiter than any Colombian. Man, he really had to take a leak. But yeah, I don't feel great about being as light-skinned as I am. And I think that has to do with the fact that I don't receive nearly as much racist remarks towards me as people who may have a darker melanin, such as Bryan TV there. But if I did, I'd feel more worthy of being able to fight for the cause and understand, like la raza, you know what I mean? But can I, if I'm like this light, like it feels very scary, and it feels even weirder when I have like members of my family go ahead and say, oh, we're people of color and we could say the N. Like, you can't. Don't say that. I'm not gonna name names, but
Grandma.
no. She'd
be like, Danny.
Nah, man. She says the M word.
What's the deal with N-words? And be like, oh, Abuelita, why do you say things like this? I hate the N-words. They're like, oh, it's almost worse that you don't say the full word, Grandma. You keep saying it. The N-word. Yes, the N-word. That's not cool. I feel that. Thank you for being honest with that answer. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I think about that all the time. Like, dude, like I wish more people were racist to me, so that way I'd have more of a drive to fight for equal rights for Latins and all that. You know?
All right. Well, that concludes our new weekly segment. Ask Colombians Colombian questions. Brought to you by Nestle Quit. All right. So can I bring something up?
You may.
For me?
You may. Yes, I am.
I mean, you got time, right?
Yeah, I think I have time. I only have. Okay, yeah, I might have to do a hard out in 6 minutes. So let's get to it.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let them know that that's good for you. Did you see the new Wakanda movie? The Wakanda Forever?
You know what? I saw it, and
can we talk about how you felt about the interpretation of Namor and the Atlantean?
Well, that I'm actually pretty happy about. I think just in particular for like it was kind of like a combination between Azteca and Mayans, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I definitely wasn't expecting like a Latin take on Namor. And certainly I wasn't really excited about Namor before, watching the movie, but it's a way of spicing things up. They didn't go too heavy into it until like, I guess, stereotypes, so that was cool. And
yeah, like Luis didn't pop out of the water.
It was almost as if they created like a new Latin American country. Like that wasn't even a Mexican descendant. That was like underwater-nese or something like that, like for lack of a better phrase. I don't know. I thought it was creative, so I was cool with it. I was jamming with it. Definitely like very researched, because they had all like the jewelry and the garb from like old like ancient civilizations and all that. So they brought that into the mix, and I thought that was cool. How did you feel about it?
I liked it, man. I thought it was a cool time, like seeing that part of it. The movie overall was a little sad, like, and I'm not, I don't go to Marvel movies to feel sad, but
yeah,
I was very excited about getting a chance to like hear the actual like Aztec Mayan language. You know what I mean? Like I was really into like actually hearing that out loud. There was something kind of really cool about that, like. And I mean the costumes and everything, and I think they did a really good job of like of threading the needle of like civilization, of like culture. You know what I mean? Like it was just enough. It was just enough combined with being underwater, and it was just enough of like, just enough of the language, and just enough of the accent, and just enough of the being brown, like of Namor being brown. Like I could do without the other people being blue. I think that part of it was a little whack, for whatever reasoning that they gave for that.
Yeah, I'm not offended by that, but I'm not sure why.
I know that might be
was
comic book
case.
Accurate. It might be. I don't know. I haven't checked on it.
Yeah,
and we'll have to get our Marvel expert on it. But like, I feel like if they had just left everybody brown, I think maybe would that have taken away from the scene? Like, what would that have meant? Like, Namor obviously looks different from the other Atlanteans because he's a mutant, but it's like, like, yeah, I guess I don't know. I just feel like maybe there could have been, I don't know, but it felt that the blue part was the only part of it that kind of made me feel some type of way. And then of course, like, you know, the obvious, like,
you know,
Hispanics
with
versus
organic
blacks
latex and wool from our
paradigm
own sustainable
perpetrated by,
farms.
like, the white
For
man
top-rated
looking for,
support,
Yeah.
you know,
and
looking for their
comfort.
thing. Like, I thought that was,
Feel the difference between avocados,
in all honesty, almost a more
eco-luxury
interesting part of the movie
mattresses
than the actual
yourself.
beginning
Visit
of the
your
movie,
local
which was all
experience center
sadness.
in
And, like,
Marin
I
It
get
was-
that.
it was definitely
Experience
like,
our organic and natural products.
I'm
Or
surprised
to
that's
simply
not the
just
more
take a nap.
controversial part of the movie, like that trope. It was eye-catching for sure. I couldn't take away from the battle they had on that ship and everything.
Ah,
So-
whatever, man. That was so silly for them to go out on the ship.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. Like they were just like fighting like Batman style, like you know, like. I thought that was innovative for sure.
Overall, I'd probably give it a higher rating on representation versus overall movie.
I give it 4 out of 5 arepas
Nice. I would
with
probably
ketchup on them.
probably give it 4 ill.
Thursdays
That's
after dark, surprise yourself.
such
at the
an American-born
Exploratorium.
Colombian.
Every Thursday
Ketchup
night
on
from
my
6 to
head,
10
that's so
p.m.
gross.
Meet us at Pier 15 in San Francisco.
All right, fine.
Get inquisitive,
Pineapple
grab
sauce.
a
How about
drink,
that?
and
Is that
enjoy
better?
the vibe.
Delicious.
We might have to wrap it up because I do have
Yeah,
a hard
yeah.
out soon.
Well, go ahead and say your signature.
You know what?
You can still act like one. Get your tickets today at
We're gonna make an Instagram for
exploratorium.edu/afterdark.
this specific podcast.
man. Make one.
We're gonna do it, and that's where we're gonna upload clips. So you stay tuned for that. Me and Bryan will talk more about that. But in the meantime,
Where can they find you?
you know what? I'm not gonna tell you guys where to find me because I'm not looking for followers right now. I'm looking for community.
Whoa.
Community.
Damn. Wow.
That's all I'm gonna say about that. But Bryan, feel free to plug yourself.
My name is Bryan. You can find me at @thereal_Bryan TV. Welcome to the second season of Caldo de Riza. It's gonna be like eating soup during a this, that, and the other episode.
It's
Just a lot more
whole
Spanish.
new episode, man. Whole new year.
Yeah, guys. And obviously, man, you know, to all our fellow half-breeds out there, if you're a half-breed, if you're a full-breed Colombian, any type of Colombian, any type of blood you got in you, blood in, blood out, plata ploma, fool. Like, you know, we're here for you. Stick around. Danny's going to start an Instagram page, which is probably just going to be Caldo de Riza, so you can find all of our stuff up there. You can check us out at bingeonthischannel.com, which is the website, and on YouTube at Binge on This Channel, where we have other Caldo de Riza bits put up there. Thank you to Danny Archilla, of course, for our wonderful logo art, which I love very, very much and dear to my heart. Thank you to Zach Vederman Will for having us here in the studio. And thank you to the viewers. We love you very much. Los amo mucho. Muchas gracias
Talk
por
to
vernos.
us in the comments. Let's make a conversation start out of nowhere, bro. Come on.
Yeah. Ahuepa.
Wepa. Until next time. Hasta
Al que le gusta. No, hold on.
Al que le gusta.
Al que no le gusta el caldo, se le dan 3 tazas.
We got to start writing that down on bulletin boards.
Just gotta follow
We
our
got to
heart.
have cue cards.
All right, see you guys
Thank
later.
you so much. Adios. I don't know if that's enough.